All right, that's it. It is over. That is the last you will see Angel Reese in a Chicago Sky uniform with the antics and the stuff she pulled to end this season. She straight up quit on this team the last 3 games of the season, refused to play. She disrespected her teammates. Her teammates went back and fired back, letting it be known, hold on, shorty, we're not going for that. Now the Angel Reese stands invaded the Chicago game, screaming out, fire Jeff P, who is the GM. This is wild. Her teammates let it be known in the player exit interviews, we don't rock with her.
You could almost hear the studio air freeze. Stephen A. Smith leaned forward, eyes locked on camera, voice calm but slicing like a blade. Michael Jordan? Really? And in that instant, every ounce of Angel Reese's confidence got dragged under the weight of truth. This wasn't debate, it was demolition. Stephen A. didn't raise his voice to entertain, he raised it to correct the record, because when someone averaging single digits in the pros calls herself the Michael Jordan of the WNBA, the only thing left to say is stop. What followed wasn't a rant, it was an autopsy of delusion. It all started with one wild statement. ESPN's Jay Williams said, by the time Angel Reese retires, she'll be the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. It was meant as hype, a little confidence booster, but in the age of viral clips and short memories, it became something much bigger. Angel's unofficial self-coronation. Within hours, headlines were flying, Twitter was melting down, and Stephen A. Smith was sitting at the first take desk, shaking his head like a disappointed father. He didn't need to check stats or scroll social media. He knew what everyone else was already thinking. You don't get to crown yourself king when you're still struggling to score 4 points. Smith didn't mince words. He said what fans had been whispering for weeks, that Angel's game doesn't...
Let's take a look at what the Angel Reese stands did at the game last night before we even get to the GM's response and what the players had to say in regards to her in the exit interviews. Let's get right off into it. They're screaming out, fire Jeff, fire Jeff. That is Jeff Pagliuca, the GM of the Chicago Sky. Damn, I could spot a nickel in the 3rd row, section C3. Angel Reese, you ain't selling no tickets. You ain't selling no tickets. I could spot a nickel right there.
At your mouth. 4 points, 12 rebounds, 1 brick after another. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark was on the sideline, wrapped in ice packs, and still generating more impact sitting down than Angel did standing up. Stephen A. framed it perfectly. This isn't dominance, it's delusion. The stat sheet didn't lie. Angel was out there hustling like a star, but performing like a role player. And the world was finally calling her on it. Stephen A.'s next line cut deep. You can't rebound your way into greatness. He wasn't wrong. Reese has made a career out of celebrating boards like they're buzzer beaters, pounding her chest after every miss she cleans up. But rebounds without points are just participation trophies. As Smith put it, effort without production is busy work. It was harsh, but it was also fair, because when your team loses by 35 points and you walk off with just 4, that's not MJ energy, that's stat padding disguised as passion. Stephen A. then rewound the tape. Back to LSU versus Iowa. Back to the moment that made Angel Reese famous, pointing in Caitlin Clark's face after winning the national championship. It was iconic, yes, but it also became the moment that defined her, not as a player but as a personality. Smith reminded everyone that wasn't rivalry, it was reaction. It's not a rivalry when you're losing by 35, he said. It's not competition when only one side is competing. And he's right. Because while Angel keeps replaying that college highlight, Caitlin keeps writing new ones in the pros against grown women under real pressure. There was a time when Angel Reese walked into arenas like she owned the place, lashes perfect, confidence high, camera lights waiting for her arrival. But swagger means nothing without substance. Stephen A. described her 4-point game as a crisis of relevance, a performance so quiet it made fans wonder if she'd peaked in college. And maybe she has, because right now the Bayou Barbie mystique is fading faster than a bad spray tan. Caitlin Clark, meanwhile, doesn't talk. She just produces triple-doubles, records, sold-out arenas, Angel had the stage all to herself while Clark was injured, and she tripped over the spotlight. At first, fans defended her. She brings energy, they said. She hustles. But the excuses are starting to crumble. Social media is now flooded with threads titled 4 points again and memes showing her shooting percentage next to construction cones. Even her loyalists are running out of words. Stephen A. didn't need analytics to make his point. He had the eye test. She's not evolving, he said. She's recycling. And when your critics start quoting your own stat line, the problem isn't perception, it's production. If Angel Reese is a storm of style, Caitlin Clark is the calm precision that follows. Clark doesn't need to declare greatness, she demonstrates it. While Angel's battling the rim, Caitlin's bending space. She hits step-back threes like they're free throws. She turns chaos into choreography, and she's already tied for the third most triple-doubles in league history in just her rookie season. Even when Clark is hurt, the Fever win headlines. Even when she's silent, she drives storylines. Angel can't compete with that, and that's what's driving this whole meltdown. Because deep down, even Angel knows she's playing catch-up in a race that's already over. Stephen A. wasn't cruel, he was clinical. He said, if you're gonna call yourself a star, you've gotta perform like one, especially when the lights are brightest. Angel Reese had the perfect chance. Caitlin was out, the stage was clear, the fans were watching, and she disappeared. Smith's voice sharpened as he listed every excuse that's followed her since draft night. She's young, she's adjusting, she's learning. He waved them off. The league doesn't care about your learning curve. It cares about your scoreboard. In other words, this isn't LSU anymore. This is the WNBA. You don't get applause for effort. You get respect for execution. And that's the part nobody wants to say out loud. The WNBA moves on fast. Every year, new rookies arrive. Hungrier, sharper, less distracted. Coaches don't care about Instagram followers. They care about minutes and matchups. Even inside Chicago's locker room, the whispers are getting louder. She's getting starter minutes, but bench results. We built our brand around her. Where's the return? That's not hate. That's business. Because the truth is, teams don't need influencers. They need assassins. And right now, Angel Reese isn't either. Then came the line that broke the internet. Michael Jordan, Stephen A. repeated, credulous. Did I miss 6 championships? Did I miss 30 a night? Did I miss anything that justifies that comparison? He didn't say it with malice. He said it with math. Angel Reese has no MVPs, no finals runs, and no dominance to her name. She's not rewriting history. She's repeating mistakes. Stephen A. summed it up perfectly. This league doesn't wait for you to figure it out. Either you deliver or you disappear. And unless something changes fast, Angel's not headed for the Hall of Fame. She's headed for a documentary titled The Hype That Never Hit. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark continues to ascend like a storyline too powerful to ignore. Even her critics admit it now, she's the most influential player the WNBA has ever had. Ratings spike when she plays. Merch flies off shelves, and she does it all without theatrics. No finger pointing, no trash talk, just bucket. Stephen A. called her the Jackie Robinson of the WNBA, not because she's the first white star, but because she's breaking through a cultural wall, bringing millions of new fans into the game. And that contrast is what makes Angel's struggles sting even more, because while Caitlin's building a movement, Angel's fighting her own reflection. It's not too late for Angel Reese, but the clock is ticking. Right now, her brand outpaces her game, and that gap grows wider with every missed layup. The WNBA doesn't reward charisma, it rewards consistency. If she doesn't adapt, her career could fade faster than her college fame. Coaches see it, teammates feel it, fans sense it. And the truth is, nobody wants to watch a downfall. They want a comeback. If Angel wants to prove Stephen A. wrong, she doesn't need another quote or viral clip. She needs buckets. She needs wins. She needs to be the player she's been pretending to be. Stephen A. didn't destroy Angel Reese out of spite. He did it out of reality, because the game doesn't care about narratives. It cares about numbers. You can't brand your way into greatness. You can only earn it. Angel's story isn't over, but it's at a crossroads. She can either double down on the persona or rise up and rewrite it. Because, as Stephen A. said, this league doesn't wait. And if Angel doesn't start delivering soon, the only thing left of the Bayou Barbie will be a nickname from a past life. There's always a moment when confidence becomes denial. For Angel Reese, that moment came when her teammates started glancing her way, not for leadership, but for liability. Every missed shot echoed louder than applause. Every eye roll after a whistle felt heavier than her gold chains. She wasn't the Bayou Barbie anymore. She was becoming the reminder that hype burns fast when it's not fueled by growth. And Stephen A. didn't invent that criticism, he just said it first. Inside the Chicago Sky locker room, the energy has shifted. Players grinding for minutes now watch Angel get starter-level spotlight for bench-level numbers. No one says it out loud, but the tension hangs thick, that quiet frustration when effort doesn't equal reward. Stephen A.'s words cut deeper inside that room than they ever did on ESPN, because deep down, they know he's right. Basketball doesn't care about Instagram followers. It cares about execution, and right now, Angel's struggling to keep up with her own reflection. Then there's Caitlin Clark, the silent storm rewriting every rule of visibility. She doesn't just bring fans, she brings proof that skill beats politics, that substance still wins. While Angel trends for drama, Caitlin trends for dominance. When Clark plays, ticket prices triple. When she speaks, brands listen. She's not chasing the spotlight is chasing her. And that's the difference Stephen A. was pointing out. Greatness doesn't shout, it echoes. Stephen A.'s Michael Jordan rebuttal wasn't just sarcasm, it was a warning. Comparing yourself to Jordan doesn't inspire people, it invites receipts. Jordan didn't talk his way to greatness, he worked his way to it. He didn't celebrate rebounds, he demanded rings. And that's what Stephen A. was saying between the lines. Stop trying to be the headline, start trying to earn it. The internet never forgets. One day they're posting highlights with fire emojis, the next they're posting your brick count. Angel's biggest defenders are starting to fade, quietly shifting their loyalty to whoever's winning that week. Because fandom is like gravity, it pulls towards success. And Caitlin Clark is pulling the entire league toward her orbit. Every triple-double she drops is another nail in the coffin of the so-called rivalry. Stephen A. Smith isn't just a commentator, he's a mirror for the culture of accountability. When he said Angel Reese is a marketing campaign searching for results, it stung because it was accurate. The WNBA doesn't survive on slogans, it survives on stars who produce. And if you want that kind of legacy, you don't get it by going viral. You get it by going vicious. Put the brand aside, pick up the grind. That's how Caitlin did it. That's how legends do it. And that's why the gap keeps widening. But here's the thing, redemption is still on the table. Angel Reese can still flip the script. She has the body, the fire, the marketability. What she needs now is humility, that quiet off-season where the cameras stop, the gym lights flicker, and she rebuilds from the ground up. If she leans into that hunger again, the same fans who laughed will cheer. Because people love a comeback more than they love a collapse. But that clock, it's ticking louder with every game. Stephen A. Smith didn't destroy Angel Reese. He reminded her, and everyone watching, that the WNBA isn't a runway, it's a reckoning. You can fake confidence, you can fake charisma, but you can't fake consistency. Either you deliver or you disappear. And as Angel Reese stands at the crossroads of relevance and regret, one question remains. Can she bounce back before the league moves on without her? Because while she's fighting for footing, Caitlin Clark is already fighting for history. And that story, Caitlin Clark forcing Adam Silver to rebuild the WNBA from the ground up,
That's not fiction. That's next.